rigidity in the area of the kidneys, which is around T11. It is not allowing your back ribs to lift up, your side ribs to lift up. And you're in this nice, stable, supported position in which you can breathe and stay for a while and feel your bandhas helping you feel how you can create more length. Generally speaking, with back bending, actually with forward bending as well, but with back bending, the more length you can create in your spine, the more you can back bend. Even as far as whether you have your hands like this when you're going into a standing back bend or a lunar lunge with your elbows bent, if you stretch your elbows, you're getting all this extra length here, and then with that extra length you can let go. Stretch. There's a strength in it. There's a flame-like feeling in it. And then it's like you burn through those little holding patterns, those deep holding patterns that say, this is as far as I can go. No, it's, or this is as far as I can go. This is a safe place. I feel fine here. I feel. And then suddenly it's kind of like that spiritual awakening, that aspiration occurs. The birth of the spirit, the birth of the aspiration. And then suddenly that flame is going up. It's reversing that inertia and it's going, Then your back bends just open up. When I've had experiences of back bending opening up, it's something that surges up from within me. I may have a sense that it's there, and usually it's the times that, a couple of times that has happened to me over the course of my practice. There's been a teacher who saw its potential where I was, and just gave me that extra little like encouragement, or they didn't push me physically or anything, but just said the right word at the right time, that my body and my spirit accepted and just went. And it's such a liberating feeling. It's like you broke through a level of yourself and you found a new level of yourself. That's when asana practice gets really fun. And you can find that once you know that is a possibility, when you're practicing at home, you can explore that journey. You can explore that, what else is there in me? And it arises from silence, just like Joseph Campbell said. It's always about going back to that silence, which is the potential, the void, the calling, the dissolution into nothingness, into egolessness, into inner listening, from which the surge, the longing for life, the longing to express, the longing to be, arises again and again, the waves of time. I love that image of Brahman, the eyelid opening and the universe is created, the eyelid closing and the universe destroyed. And we're talking about the yugs, which are what, 45,000 years? Opening, closing. If you see things more from that picture, that big picture, pull it away from the little minutiae of our lives, it's liberating. It's liberating. And when you feel yourself as one with that breath of life coming in and life going out, when you know that you will always be, there's a real liberation in knowing that you will always be. And that everything that you love will always be. And it's sad when something you love isn't in form anymore. It's not in form anymore. Like Maraji said yesterday, person is gone, and you realize how much you love them. Well, it's too late. You should have told them while they were alive. And I think about that, and I think about the people that I love, and remembering to tell them regularly, and to show them regularly, and to feel it within myself and appreciate regularly their presence in my life. this man that I really liked died in my building. I found him dead in his apartment. And just like a couple of days before that, he had asked me if anything ever happened to him, would I make sure his dog was okay. And he was a couple of years older than me. And we all, the whole building went into shock because we all realized how important he was to us. How his presence was this light. It was always, we could count on it. He always had a smile, he always had a kind word, he always listened. He never griped about his own life, ever, once. And I wished that, I hoped that he knew, I wished, I wasn't close enough to, it would have been awkward. I want you to know how important you are to me.
I don't think it would be awkward.
Well, I think he knew.
Did you
It
say
would
yes?
have been awkward for me because I think he seriously had a little bit of a, secretly had a little bit of a crush on me.
Oh, okay.
And I would have felt like I was leading him
Yeah.
on by giving him that kind of energy.
Yeah.
So there was always this little awkward energy around us. But I did really appreciate him. It's too bad it happens to me because I just love, and then people think that that love is
Specific.
yeah. And then they get attached and then it gets weird. And then I have to kind of pull away a little bit, even though I still love. You know what I mean? But I know that I'm encouraging something that I don't want to encourage.
Yeah. Did you keep his dog?
He had actually lined up someone. He told me where to find a phone number. And I did make sure the dog got, Stella was the dog's name. And I still check in with Stella. And I'm going to make a regular visit with Stella. Because I took care of her a lot when he was alive, because he was a driver and he had long hours. And we haven't heard what killed him, but we're assuming it was a heart attack. The obituary says he died peacefully in his sleep. So.
But he was alone, so how do they know?
Right. But he was very esoteric and very spiritual. And what I really liked, because he was a driver, we had this exchange. I walked Stella whenever he needed, and he gave me a discount for rides to the airport, as long as it was to National. So my memories of him were these early morning rides, you know, these 3:30 in the morning, 4 a.m. rides, watching the sunrise over the Washington Monument, going along the GW Parkway, and having these kind of cosmic conversations about life and eternity. And then he was always there to pick me up too, and Stella was always in the back seat, and it was so nice to have a familiar face, you know, that would get the kind of inspiration. I was usually coming back from a journey with some level of understanding and inspiration, and he always welcomed that. It wasn't mundane, we didn't have mundane conversations. You know, we didn't just talk about the weather and politics and stuff.
The big stuff.
We talked about the big stuff.
Seems like he kind of knew he was going to go. He had a feeling or something, because he gave you that instruction ahead.
Clearly he did.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had, or at least a concern.
Mm-hmm.
So, heart opening is right at that. Backbends can help us to feel that, surrender into that ecstasy, surrender into that abandon, surrender into that vulnerability, you know? So who would like to demonstrate a backbend? And we will look at that. We'll look at some of the factors that are important to emphasize that are true for all of the backbends, but easier to achieve and manage in bridge pose.
I do a bridge pose.
Okay.
will, but I'll do bridge.
Well, let's start down and we'll breathe.
Work our way up. Okay. Do you want to walk me through going up? Or you
Yeah,
want-
I'm coming up.
Okay.
See.
For your sake.
I guess I should get on that side. I need a stick, is what I need. Changed my mind, I don't want to do this. The guy,
You're gonna hit my hand if I do it wrong?
the teacher that David studied with, Mohan, he uses a stick. I went to one of his workshops and he was, okay. So we'll start with just a couple of breaths, letting the spine relax on the floor. Ujjayi breath, let's slow it down to conscious. And then exhale, press into your heels, engage your root lock, peel up one vertebra at a time as you continue your engagement of root lock into navel lock. And then as you come up to where you're going to settle for now, walk your arms underneath by rocking your shoulders. You want to bring your arms as close together as you can. Bring your shoulders up onto you, that's it. And then, so we talked about T11 being at the base of the part of the spine that the ribs attached to. You've got 12, and T11 is the most flexible, has the most movement range possibility of all the thoracics. So that's where we're really softening and moving into the front body and up. At the same time, we're going to have more space to open the psoas if we internally rotate the thighs. So the knees favor a little bit on the inner edge of the feet. This foot is a little bit externally rotated. Okay. So press into the big toe now and then the outer heel, activate the inner arch, and feel that your knees are favoring toward that inner arch, and that your sacrum is widening as your tailbone moves. Actually let your tailbone sort of relax down as you inhale, not your hips. Just your tailbone. So you're inhaling right from the delta of the sacrum, and as you inhale, think of more space between each vertebrae. And so as there's more space, then you can press down with the arms and lift up higher. Think of lifting your sternum up, pressing your armpits down. And just take a couple of breaths with those kind of intentions, that you're creating more space between each vertebrae. You're relaxing the tailbone down a little bit on the inhale, not dropping the hips, and as you exhale, you're moving it toward the knees as you spin the inner thighs down. And you're creating more space, so as your tailbone reaches towards your knees, you're creating more space in your lumbar, and then more space in the waist area, which allows you then to lift the back ribs higher. Press down a little more with the arms, and then with your next inhale, really lift your heart right up towards your face, right up towards the sky, press into the inner edges of the feet, and then open the arms, and exhale, peel down one vertebrae at a time. Open your arms wider. So your back is nice and wide as you come down. Waist, whoa, waist before tailbone.